I just made this video about exclusivity and why these games are running to PC in droves, in fact, en masse. There's this particular, reality that they have to still earn income because they need the money for sustainability. The question, nonetheless, is are these so-called exclusives actually doing the job, or are they just benefiting PlayStation to make them have a PR-facing perspective? And an audience member of mine said something about Rise of Ronin, even though that game is already coming to PC very soon, March. They said Rise of Ronin was the best-selling Team Ninja game despite being mid and exclusive to PlayStation. Your argument is made by exceptions, so here is one. Okay, now that you've said that, I decided let me go ahead and do some digging. You see, that's the thing. You just go look, right? Because when the game first came out, it came out in April of 2024, somewhere around there, right? So by May, June, everyone is still euphoric about the game and the sales. Rise of Ronin is Koei Tecmo's best-selling game so far, says Director. Rise of Ronin sales are surpassing the Neo series, says Koei Tecmo. They talked about how this was something really good. This is April 2024. This is June 2024. Then I go into Rise of Ronin subreddit, and they pull the financial report out. And they realize this, when it's all said and done, right? Ending March 31st is when their fiscal year is going to be basically ending in 2025. They're pretty much saying that, as some of you may know, Koei Tecmo revised their financial forecast for the financial year ending March 31st, 2025, attributing the reasons for game titles launched recently having lower than expected sales. Rise of Ronin was one such title, having expected to sell 5 million copies as a new IP. Although we don't know the overall sales numbers exactly on PS5, we get a much clearer picture in the most recent financial statement that was actually put out there. I'd like to direct your attention to bar chart on slide 11. Console/PC sales units, specifically fiscal year 2023 Q4, the first quarter of 2024, which is when Rise of Ronin launched. The other two titles that released during that period were Wolong Fallen Dynasty, Complete Edition, February 7th, and Winning Post, a horse racing game. Of the 2.7 million sales made during fiscal year 23 Q4, Ronin likely sold over 1 million plus units on the PS5. You just said to me that it was one of their best-selling games. I guess 1 million is enough for them, or maybe it's not sufficient because apparently they're saying that it did not meet expectations. You said, how so? This person writes, and someone's explaining here on the Rise of Ronin, subreddit. And this is not where they're trying to beat on the game. This is where the fans of the game are. In a prior financial report published on 30th April 2024, it was mentioned that the game's initial sales were strong and are surpassing the Neo series, starting sales in the same time frame. For context, the Neo series sold over 1 million units after 2 weeks of release. Neo 2 sold after 1 million units after 2 months of release. Director Fumihiko Yasuda, in a Denfaminico interview, I think that's the name of how you say it, in June 2024, backed the above statement by mentioning Ronin was the best-selling Koei Tecmo title at that time. Close to a year has passed since Ronin's release, and to estimate the game's reach, around 1.5 million plus sold is also a plausible figure. Again, looking back at 27 January financial report and seeing figures from fiscal year 24 Q1 onwards. It will be interesting to see how the game performs on Steam when it releases March 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not fool ourselves, man. Let's actually be very, very real with ourselves. These exclusive games are not doing the sales that y'all wish that they would do. At this point, people, we are now in the territory of wishful thinking. That's one thing. It sounds great, when the games are flying out the door, but you got to remember there's the hardcore and very ready audience to buy your game, right? So they were going nuts on PlayStation nonetheless, but we know that PlayStation gamers are playing Call of Duty and these other games, so why withhold it from the audience that would have probably maybe pushed you past that mark? I can understand Wolong Fallen Dynasty being on Game Pass at the time that it came out, so hence some sales would have probably gone towards Game Pass, income. Right? Would have basically gone towards Game Pass income, would have probably gone towards the Game Pass subscription side. But this game was a fully sold game. in terms of launch. That launch window is very paramount for you to be able to make your money back. Even MLB The Show is no longer comfortable going exclusive anymore, as MLB has seen that there is more money to be made out there. So I understand that people want to make it sound like, I have something against exclusivity, which I kind of do, but the data continues to back me up in that sense. It just happened to intersect that way. Does that make sense? Like, that's all it is. That's not like I'm trying to say, okay, I hate exclusivity, so all exclusives must be bad and all that stuff. Sure, I say that. That is my personal opinion. It's a personal, position that I hold. However, when you look at the data, you can't refute that position. What happens is the data continues to support my own position in this regard. We can even keep going. I was very surprised when I kept reading some more stuff and replies. This person said, I love how this game essentially slow burned into, it's not this particular thread. It's this one over here. Sorry. This person said, I just started playing the game. This was 12 days ago. And it saddens me, despite being a formulaic open world game, it definitely feels like a lot of heart was put into it. Right? This person said, which is quite unfortunate because it's a really good game. I mean, I'm maybe also somewhat to blame because I did wait for it to go on sale and bought it for just 18 euros a couple of weeks ago. But I've most certainly been enjoying my time with it and will likely go for the platinum. See, most PlayStation players are just like every other gamer who would wait for a deal before buying a game. Nobody wants to give these studios $60 easily. So if you really want $60, you better be coming day one with a really, really good proposition in that regard. This other person says, I think their marketing team failed the game more than anything because they kept it really quiet up until the last few months before release. Someone said PlayStation dropped the ball on this, especially for a first-party exclusive. They put more efforts on DD2, Dragon's Dogma 2, than their own exclusive deal, which is a shame. I mean, you have to go nuts on publicity and marketing the games that you have exclusivity on. Well, apparently, doesn't seem like something that they did to the extent that would get the game popularity because, when you go float money for exclusives, it's not easy to bring out, top dollar for marketing. You see, guys, I don't think, and I honestly got to say this, I'm not certain that PlayStation is really interested in exclusivity from the perspective of benefiting the developers. Once they give you that fee, they're hoping that your game will drive console sales. That's what they're hoping. And some of these developers, too, they're hoping that they can quickly recover whatever cost that they spent without having to go ahead and, rely on their audiences, which is weird. So basically, exclusivity cannibalized this game even after all of the talking at the time. So in context, exclusivity doesn't pay. It doesn't. Especially for your game going to PlayStation and Xbox, nah. You're going to be stuck there. Or you're going to be running and fleeing straight to PC because you need that revenue. That's what you need. You came here to do business. You're making expensive software. Bro, you need to get in there, man. And so Rise of Ronin is going to be coming to PC as quick as it can get here. Because if it doesn't do that, man, they would have gone ahead and made what I think is a really nice, decent looking game from what I can see anyways. With nowhere to sell it. But it seems the production costs are actually very nice because they pump out so many games. Like Koei Tecmo is shocked, and their studios are shocking in terms of how many games that they punch out. It's insane, right? So I'm hoping that they basically are able to recoup costs and they stick to what it is that they said in, I think, this financial report or so, the one previously or something like that, where they said they were going to basically go ahead and start trying to be more independent in their publishing. I think that's where they have the benefit in terms of this whole, game thing. So thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you all so much. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.